Welcome to the Checkout Point, your quick dive into this week's e-commerce buzz with me, Alex, powered by Blicket. These 20 minutes pack the latest trends, news, and insights. Let's navigate the digital marketplace together. Ready? Let's go!
Hey folks, what's up everyone? You're listening to the Checkout Point by Blicket.co, and I'm Max, coming to you slightly over-caffeinated as usual.
And I'm Rachel. Hope everyone's had as good a week as I have. Welcome to week 19 of our e-commerce roundup.
Oh, speaking of weeks, you know Mother's Day is this Sunday, right? Hopefully all our listeners have been crushing their Mother's Day campaigns.
Absolutely. And with all this growth, Blicket.co is also recruiting for a BDR or SDR, so there's plenty of excitement around here. By the way, didn't you just tackle that topic in our latest blog post?
Yes, I'm super excited we just published How Smart Bundle Pricing Boosts Sales, a real-world success story. We'll dig into that story in a bit. I think you'll find the insights pretty fascinating.
Can't wait to discuss that. But first up today, we're unveiling the secrets to successful bundle pricing, using that very same real-world success story. It's all about the psychology behind why simplicity in bundles just work so well.
Then we've got a cool exploration into how storytelling isn't just for books. Major companies like Mondelēz International are using it to drive changes and embrace new business strategies. Storytelling and business innovations, they're more connected than you might think.
Oh, and you won't believe what's happening with the latest e-commerce tools. Imagine AI predicting what you want to shop and augmented reality for a try-before-you-buy experience. Feels like the future is already here.
We'll also look at Reddit's latest earnings and what that means for digital marketing and ethical targeting. It's a delicate balance, but crucial for timely campaigns.
And speaking of technology, we're also diving into how AI is defining the B2B buying landscape, transforming how companies anticipate customer needs.
Absolutely, and can't forget the AI struggle against abandoned shopping carts. Personalization might just be the key to making your online shopping as familiar as your local store.
It's all happening right here, so stay tuned, and let's dive into the incredible world of e-commerce together.
Grab your coffee or tea and let's get started. Hey everyone, Max here, and I've got something really cool to share with you today from our own treasure trove over at Blicket.co.
That's right, Rachel here, and if you're ready to spice up your business knowledge today, you definitely want to stick around for this. We're diving into one of our latest blog posts titled, How Smart Bundle Pricing Boosts Sales, a real-world success story.
Bundle pricing. It sounds so simple, but it's a game changer for a lot of businesses. Our blog post starts with a little confession. Apparently, I'm not the only one who gets a bit jealous when seeing a perfectly executed bundle offer.
Absolutely, Max. It's like, why didn't I think of that, right? But despite its apparent simplicity, a lot of e-commerce stores still miss the mark. They end up creating these themed bundles that no one really wants, or the deals are so complex they're practically a labyrinth.
Exactly. One of the key points we explore is the idea of simplicity in bundle pricing. The real trick is to not just throw random products together, but to think about what actually makes sense to the consumer. What complements what and what's genuinely enticing as a package deal.
Right, and that brings us to one of the real-world examples we touched on in the post. So there was this online store specializing in kitchen gadgets, and they saw a dramatic increase in sales after they started offering bundles that were practical and appealing. They paired items that are typically used together, like a high-quality spatula with a set of non-stick pans.
It's all about that added value, isn't it? You read those kinds of offers and think, well, it'd be silly not to grab that deal.
And here's something we didn't write much about in the post, but is worth discussing. The psychology behind bundle pricing. It's not just about convenience. It's about the perceived savings and the reduced decision fatigue for customers. Instead of picking through a dozen products, you get a well-curated set that answers a need.
So true. And while we're on that, another major takeaway from the blog is about transparency. Customers are way more likely to bite if they feel the deal is straightforward and honest. No hidden fees, no last-minute surprises.
Couldn't agree more. I think that's especially crucial online, where trust is such a huge factor. Speaking of transparency, we've laid it all out pretty clearly in the blog. So if you're running an e-commerce store, or you're just curious about how these strategies can be applied in real-life scenarios, you definitely want to check it out.
Absolutely. Head over to Blicket.co, find that post, and give it a read. It's packed with actionable insights, and who knows, it might just inspire your next big sales strategy.
And while you're there, you might just discover more gems that could help transform other areas of your business or even spark a great idea. All right, folks, let's keep this knowledge train moving. What's next on our agenda, Max?
Well, Rachel, up next we've got... Hey, Rachel. Following up on our chat about smart bundle pricing from Blicket blog, it got me thinking about storytelling in business. Like how companies aren't just selling products, but they're trying to weave this whole narrative.
Exactly. And speaking of narrative, that reminds me of this mind-blowing story about how CMOs, those chief marketing officers, are using storytelling to handle changes within big companies. There's this cool case study with Mondelēz International, the folks behind Oreos and Cadbury.
Oh, Oreos? Now you're speaking my language. But seriously, storytelling being used like that, it's super cool, right? I mean, change can be scary, and using stories to guide people through it sounds like a total game changer.
Totally. So this Mondelēz case shows how their marketing leaders used stories not just to advertise stuff, but to help their teams and customers adapt to new strategies. They crafted stories that embody the change, showcasing both the why and the how of the transformation.
That's ingenious. It's like when we talked about bundle pricing. Instead of just slamming a new price package on the table, it's about creating a story around why this bundle makes your life epic. It's all about making the change something you can relate to and get behind.
I'm intrigued, though. Think about how scary it must be, right? For a huge team at a giant like Mondelēz to switch gears. But here comes the power of a good yarn to ease that fear. I'm wondering, how do they spin this tale so it sticks?
Great point. It starts, I think, with knowing your audience. Just like crafting a character in a story, these CMOs need to deeply understand who they're talking to, their team, their buyers, even their stakeholders, and then tailor the narrative so it resonates with those listeners specifically.
I love that. It's like your audience is your compass. But here's what I'm pondering. How can you ensure these stories aren't just fluff, They have to lead to actual results, not just good feelings.
The old form versus function debate. Well, I reckon it's all about action. Your story must inspire action or change. For Mondelēz, that might mean stories that illustrate the benefits of a new business strategy or new roles for teams. It's one thing to say, we're changing, and another to show, here's how we're thriving with this change.
Right? That's such a good point. And it's about transparency, too. Sharing not just the dream, but also the real game plan.
Speaking of plans, next up, we're diving into some fresh, hot-off-the-press e-commerce tools. I am buzzing to see if any of these tools might reshape the stories these big companies are telling.
Oh, for sure. And it's going to be super interesting to see if any of these tools can help smoothen those transitions, or maybe even spotlight a new narrative altogether.
Hang on to your hats, folks, because e-commerce is zipping along, and we're here to keep you in the loop. Stay tuned. So, Rachel, hot on the heels of our last chat about storytelling and e-commerce, check this out. There's a new suite of e-commerce tools that's just hit the market. Just rolled out May 1st, 2025.
Oh, right. I was just reading about those. They're supposed to change the game for online shopping, right? But I'm curious, Max, how exactly do these new tools make things different from what's already out there?
Great question. So imagine you're shopping online, right? These tools are designed to make that experience super smooth. They incorporate things like AI to predict what you might want to buy next. It's like having a mind-reading shopping assistant.
A mind-reading assistant, huh? I wonder if it can predict my need for yet another pair of sneakers. But seriously, that ties into what we discussed with storytelling. Imagine combining those narrative techniques from the Shopify segment with this AI. I mean, it could make for a truly tailored shopping experience.
Exactly. And get this, they're also bringing in augmented reality features. So you could say, see how a couch looks in your living room before you buy it. It's kind of like a try before you buy, but in your own space.
No way, that's super cool. It kind of reminds me of playing those AR games on my phone as a kid, but way more practical. However, I'm not entirely convinced yet. Augmented reality has been around for a bit. What's making it so special this time?
Well, from what I understand, it's about how seamless it is now. You know how sometimes tech can be a bit clunky? It sounds like they've really smoothed out the edges this time. Plus, Integration with mobile apps is supposed to be top-notch, making it just a tap away.
Okay, I can see the appeal there. Making technology more accessible and less intimidating always scores points with me. Oh, and speaking of user-friendly tech, isn't our next segment diving into platform growth strategies on Reddit?
Oh, totally ties in. Because think about it. If e-commerce platforms start nailing this new tech, they're going to need those advanced strategies to keep up with all the traffic and engagement from excited users like us.
True. And it'll be interesting to see if Reddit's first quarter report has any nuggets of wisdom for e-commerce businesses. Maybe there's a tech trend emerging there too?
Wouldn't be surprised. But going back to these new tools, Rachel, what do you think is the most promising part? The AI, the AR, maybe something else?
Honestly, I think it's the combination that's key. Bringing together AI and AR under one smooth, user-friendly umbrella. That integration could seriously make life easier for both shoppers and sellers. But I guess time will tell how well it all works in practice.
Oh, for sure. And I guess until then, we'll keep our eyes peeled and our phones ready. Ready to step into the future of shopping? Or should I say, the future is already here.
Exactly, Max. Let's see how these tools evolve and what new stories we'll have to tell about our online shopping adventures.
All right, Rachel, so speaking of new e-commerce tools we just covered, let's shift gears and talk about Reddit's Q1 earnings report for 2025. It's super cool to see how these platforms are evolving, right?
Definitely, Max. It's fascinating how these platforms impact digital marketing and SEO. Honestly, after reading that SEO journal article on Reddit's Q1 results, I was just thinking about how all this ties into the bigger picture.
Exactly. I mean, the report highlighted strong sales, optimistic guidance, which translates into more opportunities for digital marketers. You know, campaigns can really benefit from leveraging Reddit's growing audience.
That's such a good point. And with Mother's Day just around the corner, I was wondering, do you think platforms like Reddit are now becoming essential for seasonal campaigns? Maybe even as crucial as traditional ones like Google Ads were?
Oh, totally. I mean, just this morning, I was helping set up a Mother's Day campaign for Blicket. You remember the company that's hiring like crazy right now? It seems like Reddit could be a game changer for reaching different demographics.
Right, like hitting those niche communities that are so active there. But here's what I'm wondering. How are marketers supposed to keep up? Reddit is huge and it's always changing. How do you stay on top of that?
Great question. Honestly, it's like juggling. Watch this. I'm juggling imaginary oranges right now. But seriously, it's about staying flexible and keeping your eyes on data and trends. You have to be ready to pivot your strategies based on what the analytics tell you.
Yeah, I get that. And linking back to what we talked about just a while ago with those new e-commerce tools, using the right tools to analyze that data becomes crucial.
Absolutely, and it's all about integrating everything seamlessly. You know, speaking of integration and adapting, next up, we'll be diving into how AI is changing digital marketing. It's wild to see how predictive analytics are being used to understand B2B buyer behavior.
It's like a sneak preview into the future, right? And coming back to Reddit, using AI tools to sift through massive amounts of data on Reddit could help predict what's going to pop next.
Spot on, Rachel. It's almost like having a crystal ball if that crystal ball was super into data and less into the mystical stuff.
Exactly. But that leads to a bigger question. As these platforms grow, where do we draw the line between effective targeting and privacy? It's a fine line, and I'm not entirely convinced everyone's getting it right.
No way, that's a huge point. It's crucial to navigate that ethically. It's about balancing the scales, kind of like how you balance your coffee mug every morning on that mountain of books on your desk.
Hey, those books are important. But yes, ethical considerations have to be at the forefront as we use these powerful tools.
Definitely, it's going to be interesting to see how Reddit and other platforms manage that growth while respecting user privacy. Hey, Rachel. Shifting gears a bit from what we just discussed about Reddit, it looks like the B2B world is also spinning on its own exciting axis. There's this piece I stumbled upon that highlights how the B2B buyer behavior has drastically changed. It's not just about selling a product anymore, but more about cultivating sustainable relationships.
Oh, I was just thinking about that the other day. It makes sense though, right? In a world where everyone's connected 24/7, the old school sales tactics just don't cut it anymore. But here's what I'm wondering, Max. How are these B2B companies adapting to such changes?
Great question. So, from what I've read, It's all about understanding the new buyer's journey. These companies are now leveraging digital technology to not just meet, but anticipate customer needs. And guess what's at the heart of these strategies?
Let me take a wild guess. AI?
Bingo! It's like you're reading my mind, Rachel. AI is not just a buzzword anymore, it's a game changer. Companies are harnessing the power of AI to analyze data and gain insights into what their customers really want.
That's super cool and actually ties perfectly into what we'll be talking about next. AI in e-commerce. But let's park that for a moment. I'm curious about something else you mentioned. How are these insights changing the buyer-seller relationship?
Well, it's kind of like how Netflix recommends shows. Imagine that, but for B2B buyers. AI tools analyze past purchase behavior, engagement levels, even sentiment from customer interactions to help predict future buying patterns. This not only makes the process smoother, but also helps businesses be more proactive.
I see your point, but doesn't that feel a bit too, I don't know, intrusive?
I get where you're coming from, and honestly, it's a fine line. But think of it this way. It's about offering a tailored experience. You wouldn't want to watch a show that doesn't interest you, right? Similarly, businesses can now offer solutions that truly resonate with what the buyer needs, sometimes even before they realize they need it.
That's a tasty food for thought. Sort of like predictive shopping for your professional needs.
Exactly. And talking about predictive capabilities, this shift isn't happening in a vacuum. Remember how we looked at AI's role in the Reddit's platform growth previously?
Yeah, it's fascinating to see these threads connect across different fields.
Right, and speaking of connections, this evolution in B2B buyer behavior is just preparing the stage for our next chat about AI in e-commerce. Imagine, if AI can enhance B2B relationships this much, think about what it can do for online shopping and fixing age-old issues like cart abandonment.
Absolutely, Max. It's like each piece of the puzzle is slowly coming together, forming a bigger picture of digital transformation. I mean, who would have thought AI would be the glue holding different aspects of digital marketing together?
Who indeed? And with these developments, I think we're in for some interesting times ahead in the digital economy.
Couldn't agree more, Max. It's all about staying tuned to these changes and, well, keeping the conversation going.
So, Rachel, just the other day, I abandoned my online shopping cart. Again. It's like a bad habit I can't shake.
Oh, I hear you, Max. But that's not just a you problem. Apparently, 70% of online shopping carts get abandoned. That's like if every time we had 3 shoppers, 2 of them just walked away.
Wait, seriously? That many? Well, I've got some good news, which might just be a game changer for our shopping cart abandonment issues. There's a buzz about AI-driven retail aiming to solve this exact problem. Imagine AI becoming our personal shopping buddy.
That sounds super cool, but also a bit sci-fi. How does that work?
Check this out. It's all about using AI to personalize the shopping experience. Like, say you're browsing for new sneakers. The AI could analyze what kind of shoes you've looked at before and suggest ones that you might like. It's kind of like having a friend who remembers all your tastes and nudges you, "Hey, check out these cool sneakers."
Oh, I just have to jump in here. That's exactly like having a personal shopper, but in digital form. But here's what I'm wondering. How do they ensure it doesn't get too, I don't know, creepy? Like, it knows too much?
Great point, Rachel. It's all about striking that balance, using data smartly but respectfully, ensuring privacy isn't breached. It's about making shopping online as intuitive and personal as shopping in-store with a clerk who knows you.
Exactly. And speaking of understanding customers, it actually ties back beautifully to what we discussed in the last segment about digital marketing. Both are about leveraging AI to better understand and connect with users or customers, right?
Exactly, Rachel. It's all about enhancing that relationship, whether it's B2B from our last conversation or B2C like this retail therapy we're chatting about.
It kind of makes me wonder what the future of online shopping looks like. Could AI be the key to making e-commerce feel less like a vast warehouse and more like your local mom and pop shop?
Honestly, that's a super interesting way to put it. Bringing that warm, familiar feeling to the digital space. And, reducing those abandoned carts along the way. Maybe next time, my cart and I will actually make it to checkout.
Fingers crossed. It'll be fascinating to see how much closer AI can bring us to that personalized shopping experience without crossing the line.
For sure, keeping it helpful, not hovering. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see how AI evolves in our digital market spaces. Speaking of which, it'll be interesting to see in our next segment how these technologies are playing out in other areas too. I can't wait. It really feels like we're living in the future, doesn't it, Max? Oh, it sure does. And I'm all here for it. Bring on the techie future. Wow, Rachel, can you believe we just wrapped week 19 with that whirlwind tour through the latest in e-commerce?
It's incredible, Max. Every week there's something new, and today's episode was no exception. Those new AI tools we talked about are really going to change the game for online shopping.
Seriously, it makes me want to online shop just to see if my cart magically completes itself. But hey, speaking of special days, with Mother's Day right around the corner, I hope all our listeners running campaigns are seeing some awesome results.
Definitely, and remember, Blicket is growing and on the lookout for new talents. Could be a great opportunity if you're passionate about e-commerce. What stood out to you today, Max?
Oh, hands down the storytelling segment with Mondelēz. It's like, who knew how much a good story could really drive a company's strategy?
It's powerful, isn't it? Stories aren't just for kids, they resonate with everyone. It was also fascinating diving into the psychology behind bundle pricing. I'll never look at kitchen gadgets the same way again.
Right? Guess we both got our carts full of new insights. Hey, if you enjoyed hanging out with us today, we'd love it if you'd join us again next week for more e-commerce news. And yes, probably a few more of my terrible jokes.
And don't forget to swing by blicket.co for more resources. We've got everything to keep you ahead in the digital curve. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. It really means the world.
Absolutely, we're here because of you guys. Catch us next Thursday for another episode filled with news, laughs, and maybe even some Mother's Day success stories. Until then, keep optimizing those carts and campaigns.
Stay curious and keep exploring those stories behind your favorite brands. Bye for now.
See ya. Keep it digital, but keep it human too.